All right, guys. So about 3 days ago, I told you guys that a ESPN insider had reached out to me to give me some fascinating information about this Sage Steele issue going on at ESPN in regards to her, displeasure with the vaccine mandate at ESPN. Now, what this person also told me is that Sage Steele, had also contracted COVID-19. Now, at the time, I told you guys, mainstream media is not reporting on this yet, and that, hey, this is new information, right? And this is information that was going to come out. Lo and behold, 3 days later, the mainstream media is reporting on something that I told you guys literally 3 days ago, right? So, at the very least, I know that this ESPN insider is legit, right? So, yeah. Now, this whole Sage Steele thing is really, really blowing up, right? Like I told you guys, it was an issue at ESPN, not just because she has COVID, but because she also got suspended temporarily from ESPN for some comments that she made on Jay Cutler's podcast in regards to Obama and his race and women in the locker room and all types of stuff that made the woke revolutionaries upset, that made Black Twitter upset, okay? They got upset. Right? Because anytime you are Black and conservative, which I'm pretty sure Sage Steele would probably identify as conservative, they can't take that. They can't handle that. So the woke mob comes after you in full force. And that is what's happening to Miss Sage Steele as she's been suspended from ESPN for those comments. Now, I actually want to play the comments for you guys so you guys understand the things that she was saying. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to play them in a sequence of her talking about being compared to Candace Owens, right? Being the Candace Owens of ESPN. And then the comment about Barack Obama and, his race and all that. And then her comments about women in the locker room and how women dress, which also trigger a lot of the woke revolutionary. So without further ado, roll the clips.
And I'm like, I get it. Like, yeah, we all have opinions.
You're the Candace Owens of ESPN is what...
Wait, where did you read that?
I forget where I read it, but it made me laugh.
Wow. I respect the hell out of Candace Owens.
So do I.
And yeah. When you fill out your census, I'm like, well, I don't know when the last time I filled out my census was, but if they make you choose a race, she's like, what are you going to put? I go, well, both. She's like, well, you can't. She goes, well, what if Barack Obama chose Black and he's biracial? I'm like, well, congratulations to the president. That's his thing. I go, I think that's fascinating considering his Black dad was nowhere to be found, but his white mom and grandma raised him. But hey, you do you. I'm going to do me. I just literally, listen, there were some guys and some players in particular who made it difficult.
Sure.
And if I think back on some of the things they said, but I didn't know any different. And what are you going to do? Like, I had no one to tell. And I actually didn't care, Jay. Yeah. Like, and women now would probably have a problem with me not caring.
Yeah.
Because I'm not, I get it with Me Too and all that. But at the end of the day, like, it was new.
Yeah.
And I don't think people were malicious. They were just being stupid guys in the locker room. So I would laugh it off. And then I would ask the question anyway.
Yeah.
I do think as women, we need to be responsible as well. It isn't just on players and athletes and coaches to act a certain way. I mean, I've had talks with young women who would come in and they'd intern with me, with our channel, or just other women who reach out to me now. And I've said to a couple of them, they're like, well, would you look at my tape? Would you do this? And I've said, listen, I would love to, but the way that you present yourself is not something I want to be associated with.
Yeah.
So when you dress like that, I'm not saying you deserve the gross comments, but you know what you're doing when you're putting that outfit on too.
Yeah.
Like, women are smart. So don't play coy and put it all on the guys and again, I'm not saying anybody deserves anything.
Yes.
But we need to be responsible as women too, because we know what we're doing when we put certain things on and then return a certain text. Or you expect somebody's not going to see you if you go to dinner with this guy? Like, that's on us.
All right, guys. So I literally watched the fallout from this happen in slow motion, right? As these clips were kind of going viral in the Black Twitter space. People were super triggered by it, right? They were super triggered by everything that she was saying. And I was absolutely loving it, right? Because I 100% agree with what she's saying, right? For the most part, I really do. Okay? she's saying things that a lot of people believe, right? When it comes to, certain type of conversations about race, when it comes to how women present themselves in the locker room, comments that guys make towards women that's really innocent comments that are taken out of context, that are blown up, right? And things like that. And I'm telling you guys, when somebody who's a woman who's perceived to be black or of color, whatever you want to call it, when they say stuff like this, right, and they say things from a conservative perspective, the woke revolutionaries lose their minds. They get triggered, okay? And one of the woke revolutionaries that lost their minds is Jemele Hill, who basically characterized Miss Sage Steele as a clown for her comments. She says, so on top of thinking former President Barack Obama shouldn't identify as black because he didn't have a relationship with his black father, Sage Steele also thinks female journalists who dress a certain way know what they're doing when they're putting that outfit on. Clown behavior. So yeah, I mean, there's a ton of people at ESPN and people that's kind of in the sports world commenting on this that are just really upset, right? Just black Twitter is just triggered and upset with Sage Steele because of her comments, right? And I just want to chime in on this. So the first thing I want to talk about is Sage Steele's comments regarding Barack Obama and his race and the census, right? I believe that she was saying that, I guess somebody was asking her to mark what her race is, right? And I think she wanted to identify as biracial. Her dad is black and her mom is of Irish and Italian descent, right? So she obviously has the best of both worlds, okay? Or maybe even the worst of both worlds, depending on how you look at it, right? In regards to some of these comments being directed at her. But that's her life experience. And she's like, okay, well, I'm both, right? I identify with both. And that's how I want to mark myself, right? I don't want to just say I'm black because she doesn't feel like that's an accurate description of who she is. And she has the right to feel that way, right? It doesn't make her less black or a traitor to her race or anything like that, because she wants to identify herself in a way that she feels is accurate, right? For whatever reason, I don't understand why people get so upset when people accurately say, no, I'm half black, half white. I'm not just black. But these are the same people that will happily go along with the anti-science narrative that men are women and women are men, right? When that's just biologically not true, right? So they'll go along with that, something that we know is just biologically false, but yet something that's actually biologically true and accurate, which is that, hey, I'm half black, half white, I'm of mixed race. Oh my God, that's too far, right? You're anti-black. Why do you want to be white so bad? You are black, right? You're just black. That's how they do this stuff, right? It just blows my mind how this works. Apparently, it is a sin to accurately acknowledge that, hey, I'm part white, right? Oh man, you can't say anything about being white. You can't acknowledge that. You can't acknowledge the white part of you, right? That's a sin, right? But you can come out here and say I'm black and I'm proud all day, right? But if you say I'm white and I'm proud, whew, oh man, you're going to be called a white supremacist, okay? And also this idea that you have to be black just because you have black in you in and of itself is a racist idea that comes from slavery times and Jim Crow times, in which, you had the one drop rule to say that, if you have any Negro blood in you, right? You have one drop of Negro blood, then you are black, right? And that was used to segregate society, right? So that same type of thinking is what these woke revolutionaries who claim to be against racism are using to demonize Sage Steele's comments. Ain't it crazy how that works? The same people that claim not to be racist are literally using racist ideology, right, to shame Sage Steele for her comments, okay? And, I mean, look, she kind of got a point when it comes to Obama thing, right? Like, dude identifies as black, but his black father, who really was African, was not in his life. He was raised by his white mother, right? So to me, I think her comments are fair game, and that's just her opinion, right? It's her opinion. You can disagree with it, but, I don't see what was wrong with what she was saying. What she was saying was accurate and it's true, right? It is what it is. And then they also get triggered by the comments in regards to, women in the locker room and comments being made and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, what she's saying there is also true, right? I mean, women when they wear certain things, when they wear certain clothes, they try to pretend like, oh, you know, it's so innocent. Like, I'm not wearing this for attention or anything. I don't have my breast out for attention, right? They're just out because I want to look cute, right? And listen, I will concede a lot of women don't necessarily dress up for men. They dress up for other women. So I get that. But at the same time, you do know what you're doing, right? Let's operate in reality. If you're on set or if you're in a locker room with a ton of men, you probably should dress as modestly as you can, right? You probably shouldn't be revealing a ton of skin because you should understand the nature of men, right? You should understand that. You should be aware of that, right? So yes, it's on women to try to not put themselves in bad situations. Again, that doesn't excuse behavior from men. It doesn't do that, right? I'm simply just saying that you can't throw fuel on a fire and then complain when it gets too hot, right? You can't do that. I'm not excusing inappropriate behavior from men. That shouldn't happen. But again, you know, women have to be cognizant of the role that they play in that as well. Okay. And I don't feel like that's a controversial thing to say. That's just the reality that we live in. And people should be more willing to acknowledge the nature of men and women for what it is and stop trying to pretend that we live in la la land where these dynamics between men and women don't exist, because they do exist. And if you acknowledge that they exist, then a lot of this stuff wouldn't happen, right? A lot of this stuff wouldn't happen in the first place, which again, you know, a lot of people advocate for women not to be in locker rooms for that very reason. But for whatever reason, some women want it both ways. They want to be able to be in the locker room around men and then dress whatever way they want to dress, no matter how provocative it is, no matter how inappropriate it is. And then they want to play victim when, you know, a man says something inappropriate, right? Again, not excusing that behavior. I'm just saying, like, let's operate in the real world here. But they don't want to. People like Jemele Hill, they want it their way, right? They low-key want to be like men, right? They want the same power or perceived power that men have, right? That's what they want. That's what they want. But ultimately, in the day, that's not going to happen. And to me, again, I just find it interesting how ESPN is once again alienating some of their best female talent. Sage Steele is probably the best female talent that they currently have. And they're now suspending her because of some comments that she made that, in my opinion, were fair game, right? She didn't make them on the job. She made them on a podcast that had nothing to do with her line of work. And hey, it is what it is, right? But yet the woke mob gets mad. They get upset. They want to cry about the things that she said. And now ESPN, again, like they always have to do, they bend the knee to the woke mob and suspend Sage Steele. Kind of ridiculous in my opinion. I think that, you know, ESPN, they're going to lose a lot of their top talent over this stuff because there are people there internally that are not on board with this woke stuff. And they include people that are black or people of color, whatever you want to call it. There are people like that at ESPN that is not on board with this woke stuff, right? They're not on board with it. So, Miss Sage Steele, if you catch this video, if you're watching it, right, if you happen to lose your job at ESPN, please come on and do an interview, right? I would love to do an interview with you if you happen to lose your job, or even if you don't lose your job. You are invited on my show anytime to express your views. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.